Going to use a chair, some blankets, maybe have your blocks on hand in case you want them. You might really want them, so if you got them, if not, you'll be able to make do with what you've got at home, all right? We're gonna get started on our backs and just have your blanket close by. In fact, I've got a blanket and a pillow, so if you have something extra, you might like that too, all right? And we'll start in constructive rest pose, which is lying on your back with your knees bent. You might take a sigh when you get there, moving your shoulder blades down your back or rocking your head side to side. And taking a little bit of an inventory about how you feel physically, scanning your body, noticing what your energy level is like. Noticing how you feel mentally and emotionally. Today, we're focusing on one of the inner observances, which are one of the 8 limbs of yoga, the like personal code of ethics and just ways of practicing. And the one we'll work on with today is called aparigraha, which means non-grasping or non-attachment. And the way we'll use it in our physical practice and our asana practice is that we'll try to notice when we're focused on an end goal, and instead, could we try to be more in the process? So there's this statement in the Bhagavad Gita which says, do not be, this is not a direct quote, but do not be focused on the fruits of your actions, but instead focus on the action itself. Okay, so not focus on the outcome or the results or approval, all that stuff we all struggle with. Instead, just trying to be present and curious about what's happening in the moment. All right, so we'll work with that. I'll try to remind you throughout the practice. All right, so now just taking a big inhale, nice and wide, getting that pranayama going. You can blow out through the mouth or the nose. You could use ujjayi breathing, or you could just simply breathe naturally. Good, and when you're ready, let's inhale, stretch arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, bring the right knee in, give it a squeeze. Inhale to take that knee out to the right, and you might straighten out the left leg if you want to. And as you exhale, let's bring the knee across to the left, and you can extend the right arm. And we'll do that same thing again. Just inhale, take the knee out to the right on an angle here. And exhale, bring it across. 2 more. Good. As you come back to center this time, we'll just release the foot down, straighten out the leg. Inhale, reach arms overhead, and exhale, left knee in. We'll do the same thing here. Okay, so inhale, taking the knee in the left hand, out to the left. Exhale, bringing it across the body for a twist, and repeat. Let's do 2 more. Good, and then coming back to the center, let that foot come down and straighten out the leg. All right, notice how you're doing. You might roll the ankles a few times. Let's bend both knees and grab a blanket or something with a little weight. Could be a heavy pillow. We're gonna put it on the bottom of the right foot. And then we'll extend that right leg up toward the ceiling. You might wanna bend and straighten it a few times, just kind of warming up the back of the leg here. Okay, and then if you want to, if you can try to leave your legs straight, and you might straighten out the left leg to join it here. So the left leg can stay bent or it can straighten. I'm going to take my left hand and put it on my left hip area, but also on my left side of my abdominals. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to inhale and start to take that leg with the blanket on top of it out to the side just a little bit so you can feel the left side of your abdominals stabilizing. And exhale, bring it up to center and repeat. Okay, so you're going out to the side and back. Keep going with this. Now, as you're doing this, it gets a little bit tricky, okay? So you might feel like you need to rock all the way to the right. Instead, could you make your movement smaller and try to keep that left side down and work on using your core strength to stabilize? Okay, let's do one or two more. To come back to center, you can bend the knee, get your blanket off your foot, and we'll switch sides. Okay, so getting the blanket or pillow on the bottom of the left foot, extending up. Right leg can be bent or straight. Right hand on right hip and lower right abdominals. And take an inhale and an exhale. You might need to warm it up a few times. Bend and straighten. When you're ready to go, we're going inhale a little bit out to the left, but really notice if your abdominals can stabilize. As you exhale, come back to center and repeat. I can really feel my abdominals working here. And if you can't, see if you can try to engage them. And keep yourself from just rolling over to the side. Good. And next time you come up, bend the knee, take the blanket out, set it to the side. You're going to draw both knees in toward the belly. And if it feels okay, you can rock and roll. Now, if this doesn't feel okay, you're just going to turn your body. You'll see in a moment. And you might just want to watch me. What I'm going to do is start to rock and roll, turning to the side. And I'm turning so that you can see me best. But it's just so you have the width of your mat on either side. But it's okay if you don't, too. It's okay if you stay in the position you're in. I might need head and neck support. Can put that there. And just watch me for a moment so you can see what this is all about. I'll be straightening my legs up toward the ceiling with my arms out to the side. I'll be inhaling to open the legs. Okay. And I'll exhale. I'm going to take my hips and my right leg down, and then slowly my left leg down. I'm keeping them straight if I can. Then I will close the book, letting my head turn. And I'll inhale to open the book. And as I exhale, I'm going to engage the abdominals and lift the top leg without lifting the bottom leg. I'll start to lift the bottom leg only when it has to. And then we go over to the left side. The right leg joins, the right arm joins. And inhale, open. And same thing on this side. Exhale, lift the right leg up. When the left leg needs to follow, it does. And join in whenever you're ready. Now my legs go down to the right. I close my book. Inhale to open the book. Exhale, start to lift the left leg. Notice when you have to lift the right because it's too tight in there. Let's see if it can happen naturally. They go over to the left side. Close your book. Inhale, open your book. Exhale, lift the right leg, then the left. Let's do one more round. Closing the book over on the right. Inhale as you open the book. Exhale, lifting the left leg. Right leg follows. Over to the left. Now this time we're just going to come up to the center. Into your V. And then in knees to chest. Good. And then you can try to rock and roll around again. And We'll keep rocking and rolling until we come all the way up to a seat. Of course, you're always welcome to roll to your side and press yourself up, okay? And from here, let's come into a tabletop position and do some cats and cows, okay? So we'll inhale, tail up, chest forward, exhale and round. Just a couple of these. Good. And then the next time you pass through the lifted position, let's take the right leg out to the side if you can. So it's directly out. You might need to pad your left knee. My foot's on the floor, and I'm going to press it strongly down into the floor as I round and arch my back. I'm just noticing how that feels through the inner thigh and through the hip. And now, let's keep the tail tilted up. And as you exhale, tuck your back toes. Keep pressing the foot down as you start to sit back towards your heel. And lift again and repeat. Good. Next time you come back up, let's bring the right leg in and do the same thing on the left. Okay, so we'll take the left leg out, cat and cow, a few times. Good, and then keeping the tail up if you can, tucking the back toes, just see about sitting back, pressing that left foot down into the floor strongly, going back and then back up several times. Good, now I didn't do this on the other side, but we'll go back to it, okay? So I've got this left leg out to the side. Could you protract, widen the shoulder blades, exhale, engage your abdominals, and see if you could lift that left leg up, and inhale, put it back down. It might be really hard. You might not be able to do it, okay? But you can give it a try. Lift up, inhale back, exhale, lift up, inhale back. Bringing that leg in, let's do that on the right. So taking your right leg out to the side. Now you might try to do this so hard that you get all funky in your neck or twist your body. See if you can keep yourself stable. Stabilize with your core. Use your exhale and lift. You only need to lift a little bit, right? Do whatever you can, okay? Try it a couple times. Good. Now coming down, bringing that knee in. Let's just circle around a few times. Good. Let's come down onto our belly into Sphinx pose. Pressing your pubic bone down, you could always put a blanket beneath the fronts of your ankles. And we're going to be in Sphinx half frog pose or half Bakasana pose. I'm going to bring my left knee forward. So I've got the leg crawling forward any amount I can, but just as high as the hip. I mean, not past the hip, just straight up, okay? I'm going to try to push that left knee into the floor as I use my forearms to open up the chest and lengthen strongly through the right leg. One more breath. Good, and then let's just bring the forehead down to the backs of the hands and slowly move that left leg back. Just wiggle the hips a bit side to side. Then inhale back up to Sphinx and exhale, bringing the right knee forward into half frog. I'm going to really straighten and engage through the left glute and leg and press the right inner knee toward the floor as I use my forearms to open up the front of the chest and breathe. Good. From here, let's press down into the elbows and just lift ourselves up onto hands and knees And we'll settle back into child's or extended child's pose, letting the head come down toward the floor. You can even pad your forehead with your hands if you'd like. If it doesn't feel good to sit back on your heels, feel free to have your hips higher and be in puppy dog pose. Good. Now let's start to come up. And we're going to roll over the feet. If you want to come into downward dog on the way, feel free to do that, right? As passing through, or you can walk your hands back and stand up right away as well. Good. And now let's come all the way up to standing. Reaching the arms up when you get there. And exhale, arms out to the sides and down. And move around however it feels good to do so. And we're going to get our chairs just so we have it at the front of our mat. You could also use some blocks here instead. And you might like some knee padding here too. So I'm going to have my blanket at the ready. Okay. Standing toward the front of your space, feeling all 10 of your toes, kind of wiggle them around. All right, from here, inhale, let's reach our arms up. And exhale, hinge and fold. Your hands could come to your chair. They could come to blocks or your legs. Inhale, extending your spine forward. And exhale, we're going to bend the knees. And you can use your chair for this. I'm going to take your left knee down to your blanket. Okay? And come up onto that knee. So you're in a half kneel. Okay. Now, I'm going to turn open so that my right knee's out to the side and my left foot, you see how I swiveled it around here, all right? If your left knee hurts, put more padding. Another option would be to do this standing in a warrior two stance if that left knee just cannot get enough padding, okay? So from here, I'm gonna notice, does it feel okay to have this right foot and knee out to the side? And if not, you could walk it more forward toward this long edge. That might be more comfortable if you've got a really tight right hip, okay? And then from here, I'm just gonna start to see what it feels like to lunge toward the right and back up. Now as I do this, you can do it a little or a lot, getting into that inner thigh, but notice how your knee feels as well. Okay, coming in and out, making sure it feels all right. Okay, and you might notice, where are you putting weight on that right foot? Is it coming right down the center? Is it the inside? Is it the outside? And you can start to let your knee migrate in, let it migrate out. Just notice, go slowly so you can make sure you're not going into any major pain or anything. And you're in control. You can even start to make circles around. You can circle the other way too. Relax your neck and shoulders. Good. Now, I don't know if you want to do this, but you could give it a shot if you want. I'm pushing off and lifting that leg up, right? I might even kick it up too. You can do the sound effects if you want to. All right. Good. And then we'll just come right up to the center. Okay. Now I'm going to straighten out this right leg. I'm going to straighten it out with my heel on the floor, my toes toward the ceiling. And now I'm going to take that hip, that leg, and internally rotate it relatively. So now my toes are pointing forward and my whole foot's on the floor. And I'm just going to go between those two positions, noticing what that feels like. And And then which one do you want to stay in for a couple of breaths? Just pick one, okay? And then inhale, reach the left arm up. You can stay right here in the center, or you could exhale and lean toward the right. And then inhale, rise back up. Exhale, arm down. Gonna bend that right knee again. And I'm gonna bring it in and switch sides. Okay? So, hang on, gotta rearrange a little bit. So, switching sides with the left knee bent and out to the left, pointed out to the left. Adjusting for your own body, right? Then as you're ready, you can start to sink in and out. Back of head in line with upper back. Now you can always do this standing in a warrior two type stance. You can start to go different angles on that foot and knee. Maybe make circles. Good. And then you can try going right down the center, maybe even doing some lift off. Good. And then rising up to the center, we'll straighten the left leg now. And I've got my toes pointed up. I'm on my heel. I'm going to go between internally rotating it relatively and externally rotating relatively, right? So I'm just turning it in and out, noticing how that feels through my hip, through my inner thigh, legs. And then pick one. Doesn't matter which one, okay? And inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, a little lean to the left. And then inhale, rise up. And exhale, we're going to turn to face your chair or the front of your mat again, bringing both knees in. Okay, so you'll either want your chair or blocks for this. Either one will work. I'll show it with both. First, I'm going to keep my left knee down and take my right foot forward a little bit outside my hip. So just a little wide of a step. Okay? And then from here, I'm going to back up to show it with the blocks first. I'm going to bring my hands down to the blocks. So my foot is over here, right? I'm going to feel like I'm sliding that front heel back to the back knee, pushing it into the floor. Then I might decide I want to come down further into a lunge without pushing it too far, right? So really feeling into your own body. You know, what feels like the right amount for you today? Engaging the back glute. Keep breathing. You could also be doing this here, right? Using the seat of the chair. If the back knee does not want to be on the floor, you could lift it, okay? Good. Now, from this position, could you start to straighten the front leg? Let the heel rock onto the floor, the toes lift up. You can have your hands on your blocks or your chair, and then bend it again, coming back to the lunge. And go back and forth like that. So it's a little funky because my leg is not straight up at 12 o'clock from my hip. It's a little bit on a diagonal, like maybe 1 o'clock or almost 1 o'clock. Okay, and I'm going between the two positions carefully and breathing. A couple more. Good. If you want to stay in the straight-legged position for a bit, you could. Let your neck relax. If you were doing this standing without that back knee down, it would be the same thing. You're just not putting that back knee down, right? Good. All right. If you've been holding, you're going to bend that knee, come forward. You can rise up, bring your right leg back, and we're going to switch sides. Left leg comes forward, hands can be on blocks or chair. Walk that left foot a little bit outside, and then you can lunge forward if it feels okay. Engaging your right glute. Feel like you're sliding your left heel back towards your back knee on the floor. And breathe. Again, you could be lifted in the knee. And we're going to go back and forth between straight front leg and bent front leg, okay? So lunge and then exhale, go back, let the toes come up, rock onto the heel, and then inhale, lunge again. Okay, go in between these two, your own pace. Again, you could be using the chair instead. You could also be doing it without the back knee on the floor. Good. Now, if you want to hold the front leg straight and just breathe, go for it. Let your neck be at ease. Good. And then slowly bending the front knee. And we're going to come down to the floor, or just with our knees on the floor. You can push your chair forward if you've been using one and get your blocks out of the way. So we'll start just in a quadruped position or a tabletop position. If you need to be on forearms instead, I would put those forearms on medium height blocks. Okay? Right. We're going to lift left leg. Take it back, lift it up. Hip is facing the floor. Protract the shoulder blades, engage the core. Inhale. And exhale, can you turn that left hip to face the left a little? And inhale, turn it back to the floor. Let your neck relax and repeat. Probably feel that bottom hip working as well. Good. Bringing it down. You can circle the hips a bit here. All right, let's do the other side. Right leg goes back, lift it up. Find your breath, protract the shoulder blades. You're gonna inhale, open it up to the right. Exhale, close it back down. Notice if you're bending one arm, see if you can keep them both straight. Keep that core engaged. Good, bringing the knee down. Let's lift the knees off the floor, walk the hands back. Rise or roll up. Inhale, taking the arms up. And exhale, arms out and down. All right, just gonna shake it out a little bit. You can get any blankets off of your mat, and we're gonna use the chair. You could also use the wall for this if it felt like a better height for your body, okay? I'm gonna stand in front of the chair and inhale to reach your arms up. Exhale to fold hands to the chair. Now, in order to have your spine in somewhat neutral position here, you may very well need a big bend in the knees and the weight in the heels. So just find out, where do you need to be? There's not much weight on the hands. It's going to be on your feet, okay, your weight. And now from here, could you take your right leg back and lift it up? It's okay to have the left knee bent. Keep breathing. So a supported warrior 3. Good, bringing that down. Now let's try the other side. Notice if you're putting a lot of weight on your wrists. See if you can take some of that weight off your wrists. Inhale, chest reaches forward. Weight is in your heels. Exhale, left leg goes up. Good. Both hips are facing the floor. Good, bringing that leg down. Bend the knees, inhale, reaching chest forward. Exhale, bend the knees more. Inhale to stand. And you can reach your arms up towards the ceiling. And exhale, bring the arms out to the sides and down. Good. Kind of shake it out a little bit. All right. So now we're going to try to find a wall space that it just has to be able to fit your foot on it. Okay, and I'll show you. We're going to take our chairs with us. The chairs are going to be a little more than a leg's distance away or body's distance away from the wall. And you might want to just watch me first so you know what's going to happen. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is starting the same as I just did. Okay, knees bent, leg, see I'm too close to the wall. I gotta be able to straighten that back leg, maybe. Now this can be really challenging, so you're just gonna do the best you can, okay? See how this goes? You're gonna try to get your right foot flat on the wall. Now it's okay to have this standing leg bent, but just be able to tap the toe so your weight is not forward, okay, for our purposes. You see where I am? I actually, to get more even, somewhere in between there, trying to turn that right hip toward the floor. And breathe. Bottom heel is trying to be below bottom hip. It can be straight or bent. Join me whenever you're ready. Neck is at ease. You're trying to press into the wall with your foot, straightening the top leg. Okay. Couple more breaths. Good. Now let's bring that right leg down. You can do anything you want between sides. You might forward fold. You might stand up. Inhale, reach your spine forward. Exhale, let's take that left foot to the wall. Same thing. Okay. Now, if this is just super hard for you, you're just doing what you can. You can also do what we just did, right? So we weren't using the wall a moment ago. We're just trying to bring the leg up. You can be doing that too, okay? Pressing the foot into the wall, trying to straighten the top leg, the left leg. Bottom leg can be bent or straight. Neck at ease, jaw at ease. Couple more breaths. Go ahead, bringing that leg down. It's a big leg stretch too, not to mention using a lot of strength. Just kind of bend one knee and then the other. You might even bring your head down to the chair if it feels good to you. Following your breath in and following your breath out. All right. And inhale, reach your chest forward. Exhale, bend the knees. And inhale, rise. Exhale, arms out and down. Okay, I know I didn't even tell you about this wall stuff when we started, but if you have more of a wall space, it'd be great to use it. And a block is really good here. Something you could use instead of a block would be like a big squishy ball or something. That could work. It's got to be pretty big though. If not, I'll try to just talk you through what we're working on. So what we're going to do here is bring your right leg forward next to the wall. My right side is next to the wall and my right foot is forward. And I'm going to put my block between the wall and my knee. Okay, you see that? So I've just got it held there. If you had a big squishy ball, you just need to get closer, okay? Feet are hips distance. Good. I'm going to lean a little bit forward, and I'm trying to lift my back heel if you can balance. You can always hold on to the wall too. Okay. I'm actively pressing my knee into the block to hold it on the wall, and I can feel it working here. Okay, now from here, I'm going to exhale, start to turn this left hip to the side, and did you notice I put my left heel down? And then I'm going to inhale, come back. Okay, I'm going to try to engage the core. Exhale, turn. I'm trying to keep this front knee stable. Inhale, come back. It's really working my leg here. Exhale, turn. Inhale, come back. Exhale, turn. Inhale, come back. Good. Let's take away the block. Stand. And then we'll go to the other side. All right, so same thing. Left leg forward. Left knee. I think I'm just going to show the same side. Let me see. I just can't see you now. Okay, so maybe it's okay for you to see it from the back. I don't think so. I'm going to show it from the front. So left knee pressing into block against wall. Leaning forward, lifting back heel if you can. Okay, so right heel is in the back this time, and we're going to do the same thing. Engage the core, pressing into the block. Exhale, turning that left hip open, spinning the heel down. Inhale. Exhale. You'll feel this whole leg working. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Good. All right, take the block away. Step forward. We'll come away from the wall for a moment here. Don't need the block for right now. I'm going to step the feet wide. Let's turn left knee and foot open. Step it to where it feels good in your hip and where your belly button is trying to turn away from the knee if that doesn't hurt. Kick the right heel back. Good. Let's slowly bring the forearm down to the thigh. If when you do that, you feel like you're really rounded and hunched down, kind of like this, it's so far down there. Instead, just stay upright like a warrior two. Pose, but kind of on a slant. You see, I've got my hand on my thigh. Okay, either one will work. You can reach your right arm along your ear and breathe. Pressing that left heel down toward the floor. Let your neck be relaxed. Lift out of that left shoulder. Good. 2 more breaths. Good. And now looking down at that left foot, let's press into the heel and rise up to come out. Switching sides. So that's extended side angle pose. And from here, bending the right knee, kicking the left heel back. Good. Deciding, where it feels right to go down to, forearm or hand. Finding the slant, you might need to get wider. Good. Can do what is necessary. I can't remember if on the other side I said to open that hip. You really don't have to open that hip. It's just not facing the floor, right? It's just somehow turning to the side a bit or a little, whatever amount feels okay. And so is the chest. Can reach that left arm along your ear or up, or it can stay on your hip. Notice where your neck wants to be. And when you're ready to come up, press into that front heel. This is Parsvakonasana. And straighten the leg. Wiggle the feet closer together. All right. We use our chair again. You could choose to use the wall instead of the chair if you want. I'm going to Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to the chair or wall. Inhale, reach spine forward, knees could be bent. Exhale, we're taking right leg back like we did before. Now that you've done this with the foot against the wall, imagine you're pressing your foot strongly into the wall. Okay, our hips are facing the floor. I'm going to inhale, get really long, and exhale, could you turn your right hip open to the right, and exhale, close it down to the floor. These are called moon rises. Open and close. Opening and closing. Just noticing how this is through your hip, right? If you have to modify for your own body, please do. I forgot to remind us about the aparigraha, that non-grasping, right? So just being right in the moment here, not really trying to achieve anything, but just play around with movement, breath. Whew, and I can really feel it in my bottom hip, my left hip. Now, if you want to try to stay open with your right hip facing the right, you could. You could also begin to get light on your right fingertips. They could come to your hip, and you could start to turn your chest to the right. You could also take your arm up toward the ceiling. Now you can imagine you're pressing your right foot into a wall here. And extend through all four limbs. You can also stay facing the floor or take a break. Okay, one more breath. And then slowly closing it down, back to the chair. Foot comes down. You might want to stand up between sides and swing and twist, or you could forward fold. Let's feel for what your body wants to do. And then let's get ready for the other side. So meeting me here with hands on chair, knees could be bent or straight. Inhale as you extend your spine forward, and exhale, left leg goes back. And imagine you're putting your foot on a wall. You're pressing it back. Bottom leg can be bent or straight. Shoulder blades away from ears. We're going to try to inhale, open the left hip to the side, and exhale, close, and just see how does this feel in your body. If it doesn't feel good, or I shouldn't say good because it might be very challenging, but if it doesn't feel safe, then back off, change it, okay? It's a big opening through the inner thigh here. Hamstrings, and a lot of work on the hips. Good. Now we're trying to feel the work happening in that right hip as well. Now I'm going to just keep that hip open if I want to. I might get light on my left fingertips, or I could keep them down. Might bring my left hand to my hip and turn my chest open to the left. Imagine I'm kicking my left foot into a wall. I might also reach my left arm up, and this pose is called Ardha Chandrasana, or half moon pose. Keep breathing. Feel your core engaging. I forgot to remind you of that on the other side. And when you're ready, closing it back down, bringing the other leg down. Let's bend the knees and stand up. Let's inhale to reach the arms up. And exhale, arms out and down. And let's roll the ankles around. Might have helped to do that first, right? So this is rolling around the outer edges of one of your feet. And going the other way. So anytime that we are balancing on one leg, we're usually working on ankle strength as well. Right? Wobbling all over the place, trying to get that foot organized. And you can go back through, I've got so many videos in our library, let's do the other side, all about feet and the ankles so much really remediated practice so that you're not jumping into something that's a little more challenging, right? It's kind of balancing on one leg. We've got a lot of stuff on there. So be sure to take advantage of that library that's provided to you. Good, now let's just stand for a moment. And let your arms hang, feel your feet on the floor. How do you feel left to right sides? You can let your eyes close or you can keep your eyes open. Can you feel the breath go in for a count of 3 or 4 or even 5? And let's go out for longer if you can. You can blow out through pursed lips or just out through your nose. Notice where your mind is. And you just wiggle your fingers around, opening your eyes. As inhale, roll the shoulders up. Exhale, take them down your back. And again. Good, one more time. All right, let's turn around to face our chairs. And from here, I'm just going to inhale to reach the arms up. And exhale, let's squat. So I've got my feet about as wide as my mat. And I'm going to take my weight into my heels. You can just come down as far as it feels okay on your knees. You might even come down even further, like a really deeper squat. Right? Just notice how that is. Now, your ankles or your heels might not be able to stay on the floor as you do this. You could roll up your mat and put them below it if you want. We can work on some more like just mobilizing and strengthening the ankles next time. You can also take a couple of blocks or a little stool and sit on it here. Right? So you're finding this deep squat, but you're supported. So you're not like falling back, right? So feel free to do that. A little stool, a few blocks, a bunch of pillows. And I'm just sitting up tall. Might bring my elbows to the insides of my knees. I might bring my palms together. Good. And as you're ready to, you can slowly bring yourself down to the floor. Let's take your legs out in front of you. Okay, Dandasana or staff pose. You can place your hands next to your hips, pressing down strongly, sitting up tall. You might need a wall behind you or furniture. Right? Toes drawing up toward the ceiling, legs engaged in staff pose. Or you might need to put your hands behind your back. Good. Now from here, you can keep working this. If that's a huge stretch on the back of your legs, or you might start to hinge forward. Now, if this just does not feel good in your body, feel free to go onto your back instead, and you can take a towel over your legs, have your legs up toward the ceiling or a strap, and just hold on to them like this, okay? Either one of those are great. Wherever you are, can you let your jaw and your neck relax? Good. And if you're leaning forward, let's come up. Going to come down onto our backs. If you have your chair handy here, you can use it. You can also use the floor. Okay, we're gonna do some recline stretches on our backs. Might even bring your blanket behind your head. I'm just going to inhale. So for this one, figure 4 stretch, I'm going to inhale, reach my right leg up, and my legs are in 90 degrees as I cross the right ankle over the left thigh, pressing that knee out to the side, a little or a lot. Now, if this is enough of a stretch, like you're getting a stretch in the outer right hip or maybe the inner as well, or you can lift the left foot off of the chair, hold behind it. Hold behind the leg, thread the needle. You can rock a little bit here if you want to. Keep feeling your breath as it goes in and as it goes out. Good. And let's release, placing left foot on the chair, uncrossing right on the chair, and now the other side. Inhale, left leg goes up. Exhale, cross the ankle. You might stay here pressing the knee out, or can thread the needle. Might rock a little bit. Good. Bring your right foot back to chair, uncrossing left. Okay, now in this next one, I'm going to try to cross my thighs. So instead of crossing the ankle like figure 4, I've got my thighs crossed. Okay, let's see if that works for you. I might see if I can lift my foot off the chair and hold the knees. Right? So it's like a knees to chest with this weird crossing. Might feel a stretch in the outer hip. You could also, if it's accessible to you, reach around for each shin as long as it's relaxed through your shoulders. And pull the feet kind of out to the sides. You just work what's right for you here, okay? Feel your breath go in, count to 3 or 4 or 5. And feel your breath go out, seeing if you can make it a little longer. And you can, to get your breath to go longer, you can even try the humming breath, Brahmari breathing. I'll start that on the second side. All right, so I'm going to release, bringing my left foot back to the chair, uncrossing. Left goes on top now. You could always stay here, or you could lift your foot off the chair, drawing knees in toward belly, holding knees somewhere. All right, and now you know you could get the shins too, or the ankles, or the feet. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to inhale, and to lengthen my exhale, I'm going to hum. And repeat. Noticing all the vibrations as you hum in your face, your neck, your throat. When you're ready to, you can keep the humming if you want. You can also let the feet go. Good. Resting your feet on the chair or on the floor. Inhale and exhale. I want to give you the opportunity to do a bridge pose here. So if you're doing it, you could use the chair, press heels down. I'm just taking away my head and neck support. And you can peel up like this, right? I really like this variation. It works my hamstrings a lot as I press my heels straight into the chair. You're also welcome to do a bridge pose on the floor. Okay, I'm going to do several repetitions working my hamstrings. You can feel free to hold yours, do supported bridge. Feel into what's right for you. All right, here we go. Put pressure into the back of your head a little bit so that you're not pressing the back of your neck to the floor and overstretching it. You've got this natural curve of your neck coming away from the floor. And if you're doing the hamstring variation, you're going really slowly and just pressing those heels straight down, trying to feel these hamstrings working. Good. And when you're finished here with your bridge pose, you can choose any variations. Might feel good to do a happy baby pose or some twisting. Knees to chest. And releasing whenever you're ready. Doing any finishing postures and then finding your way into Shavasana or another restorative pose. Getting any props you'd like to help that experience be more supported. Provide that support to allow your nervous system to practice letting go. So for the next minute here, you practice letting go of effort and letting go to gravity. Noticing how you're feeling here. Physically, what your energy level's like, and also mentally and emotionally. Maybe taking a sigh, sinking in a little bit more deeply. You can stay here for as long as you'd like.